After hearing Rabbi Shapiro explaining how we become a kusher to the Rebbe through limud Hora'osav, learning the Torah of the Rebbe, there is some space left in, like the Rebbe himself said, Yutis Kislev Tavshin Yud Aleph. Number one is to fulfill the takones. There are certain takones that the Rebbe set up for each chassid, what he has to do, how he has to live, whether it's learning Chitas, Rambam, and many, many other takones. And then the Rebbe goes on to say that there is one more way of hiskashrus, is halicha berchesav, to go in the ways of the Rebbe, to follow the instructions of the Rebbe. Instructions in a broader way, not only your own learning, but actually affecting the outside world. And actually the Rebbe said an interesting story then, that the Rebbe Rashab once on Shmini Atzeres called in the Frierdiker Rebbe, and they were sitting in Farbrengen, sitting together, and he says, go call in the Chassidim. And the Rebbe Rashab said, even though Shmini Atzeres is like Rosh Hashanah, which is not a time to sit with Chassidim, nevertheless, call them in, and I want to sit with them. And the Rebbe says, from here we see how much Mesirus Nefesh the Rabbeim had to care for the Chassidim, to make them feel good. They could have Farbrengen the next day, Simchas Torah, and Isru Chag. He nevertheless did it on that day because that's what the Rabbeim and our Rebbes taught us and showed us, that to help another Jew, you have to really go unto Mesirus Nefesh. You have to be ready to go an extra mile to convince and show the other Jew how much you care for him. At that Farbrengen, the Rebbe said, was right after Yud Shvat, the Rebbe said that each chassid has to affect 10 Eden, b'machshava, dibur, u'maaseh, in his thoughts, in his speech, and in his actions. Means his davening of this other Jew should be a little different, should be a little better. His learning the Torah should be better, and his actions should also be better. And in other words, the Rebbe is telling us that we have to go out of our comfort zone to affect another Jew. It cannot be done just, because you are nice to your neighbor or to somebody you meet in the street and you want to continue to be nice. Sometimes you have to really push it. You have to do something, like the Rebbe says, Mesirus Nefesh. Gimmel Tammuz, especially for us in Russia, reminds us of what happened 90 years ago on Gimmel Tammuz. The Frierdiker Rebbe was released from prison on his way to Kostroma. And he stands in the train station in Leningrad. And somebody could imagine the scene over there. Chassidim and Jews from all over came to say goodbye to him, and they didn't know when will be the next time they will see him. And the Frierdiker Rebbe was just released from prison after having gone through a moment that everybody thought that chas v'sholem, this will be the end. And the Frierdiker Rebbe stands up in the train station and he spoke the famous sikha that only our bodies are in golus, our neshamas cannot be put in exile. Our neshamas, our souls are effective and they're not going to be stopped. This is having the NKVD, the KGB of that time, standing around him, listening every word, and he's telling the Yidden and the Chassidim, you have to continue going out and helping other Jews. And this you see in many, many sikhas of the Rebbe. The Rebbe stresses the point that it's not enough just to go and help another Yid. Avas Yisrael is important, is the foundation, but Chassidim have to go to Mesirus Nefesh for Avas Yisrael. They have to go and give up from their own, and then they show how much they love another Jew. There's a sikha the Rebbe once spoke about Hamidu Talmidim Harbe. And the Rebbe said that a chassid will go and teach, for example, 3 Talmidim. 3 Talmidim were allowed to teach also in Russia. If we want to do what the Rebbe taught us, the Rebbe says you have to go, you have 1,001 Jews in your city. It's not enough that you touched 1,000 Jews, you have to touch 1,001 Jews. If you're not going to touch that extra 1 Jew, there's something missing. In other words, each one of us has to understand that what the Rebbe is expecting from us is to go to the outskirts and the foremost and the farthest Jews and touch them also. And the Rebbe in that sikh actually said, if we're talking about hiskashrus, connection to the Rebbe said there could be a Yid that he davens b'aveda. He learns Torah and he does mitzvahs. He has avavera. And the Rebbe even said he's a merkava. Means he's in the level of Avram, Yitzchak, and Yankov. And the Rebbe says he's going to get Shai Elamis. In Mirz Hashem, when Mashiach is going to come, he's going to get 310 worlds. You can imagine what his charet is. But his hiskashrus to the Rebbe, shaychus to the Rebbe, he doesn't have. He learns, he davens, he has avavira, he loves Hashem. But he doesn't do what has to be done. The Hora'osav of the Rebbe doesn't fulfill. He doesn't make this hamidu talmidim harbe. He doesn't reach out to the other Jew, to one more Jew. He has no shaykhus to the Rebbe. The Rebbe says shaykhus pnimis, of course, because every Jew has a shaykhus. What does it mean to us today? If the Rebbe tells us that on Yud Shvat, what we have to do is go out to the shuls and to the places where youth are gathered and speak to them about what the Frierdiker Rebbe did for them, how much he cared for them, I think that today on Gimmel Tammuz, besides, of course, trying to be by the Eyal and learning the Rebbe's Torah and davening and everything that we know we have to do, one of the things we have to do is follow the Hora'osav of the Rebbe. That's the Mivtzoim. The Rebbe, that was the Chidush of the Rebbe, to go out to a Jew that has never heard and do it Mesirus Nefesh. Sometimes it's a close person to you and you think, I'm going to tell him to put on tefillin. This guy's going to think I'm crazy. I'm going to lose him. A Shliach just told me yesterday, one of his big supporters came into his Chabad house and he brought him a nice check, and on his way out he stops him and tells him, please come put on tefillin. I want you to put on tefillin. And the guy said no. First of all, when somebody says no, you don't give up. But in this case, the guy said no and he left. And the Shliach was completely broken. He said, did I do the right thing? And I told him, not only you did the right thing, you should have pushed him even more. This is what people are expecting us to do. They don't expect us to be just a regular rabbi, a regular neighbor, a regular friend. Lubavitchers, let's say we are crazy. We are crazy understanding what the Rebbe wants to touch every Yid, to help every Yid. We know what he needs, and we're going to be there to help him. And I think this is part of our living with the Rebbe today, is of course doing what the Rebbe is expecting us to do, but this is going to give us an incredible amount of satisfaction and feeling that we are connected to the Rebbe, but even more, it's going to help our whole Aveda im Atzmei, working on ourselves, our own Torah, our own mitzvahs. The Rebbe said in the first Maimer, Al tikri vayikra ela vayakri, that Avram Avinu wasn't only about taking care of himself, was about affecting other people. And the Rebbe says if we say Al tikra, actually it means that both ways of saying this word, vayikra, Avram, they are both actually needed. If somebody doesn't have the vayakri, if someone doesn't go out and teach people about the Eibishter, about the mitzvahs, he doesn't go out and do mivtzoim, he's going to be missing his own calling to Hashem. There's something that's going to be missing by him. The Rebbe has shown us, and Baruch Hashem, we have seen it, every time they are bringing one Jew closer, every time they have an effect on another Jew, it affects you. You see a Yid in the middle of the streets, he picks up his sleeve and puts on tefillin. What does it tell us? How much do we have to change? You see him crying when he starts saying Shema Yisrael. And this really affects us also. So the Rebbe is giving us the best present by telling us, do help till Mesirus Nefesh, and this is going to bring you, Mirz Hashem, an incredible feeling of connection to the Rebbe.